Okay, I'm gonna try to make a video explaining how I add new classes to the bad calendar and website. So I'm adding a bunch of classes today. The next kids class for the North Town is already in there. But I'll show you how I did that too. And then I'm adding two new Silks beginner series and a Lyra beginner series. So in Tula, for anything other than an adult drop-in class, it's a special event. Because the Tula is set up so that the credits can be used for anything. So like the regular, if you buy a 10 class pass, those credits can be used for any class. If you want to create a class where the regular adult, like 6 class or 10 class pass can't be used, you have to do it as a special event. So I go to new class or event, and then it'll give you 4 options, and I usually hit special event series because most of these are a series. And that makes it so that somebody can't just go in and buy like a 1 class drop-in pass and go to the beginner series or go to a kids class. They have to buy the pass that's connected with that special event, and that keeps things from getting crazy. But then for the regular adult classes, like the Wednesday night Lyra class and everything, those are just regular. Those are the classes that are just regular classes, so that if you buy, a 10 class pass or whatever you buy, you can use it in the adult drop-in classes, but those are the only classes. So when I'm adding a new class, most of the classes that we add are just repostings of previous classes that we've done, like the beginner series or the kids session classes. So I like to open Tula in 2 windows so I can cut and paste from whatever the previous one was into the new event. So I've got a new event in one tab, and then I've just got Tula open again in the other tab, and I'm going to go to, let's add a beginner silk series. Let's add one for Mondays. I'm going to go into the last, I don't know if it matters if it was a Monday one or a Saturday one, but I'm going to go into this beginner series from February, and I go to view class series, and then I'm going to go to edit this series. I'm not actually going to edit it. I'm just doing that so I can copy and paste everything. Beginner series silks. Oops. So I copy that, except I'm not doing a good job of that. Copy and paste it in the class name. Just beginner series silks. I'm just putting myself for the instructor. I need to make an instructor page for Christina, but then I go to repeating schedule. So this one is going to be March 28th, I think is that. April 4th and April 11th. I wrote down the dates, but I can't read my own handwriting. March 28th, April 4th, April 11th. Okay, so the Monday series is at 5:15. So class time 5:15. p.m., 1 hour and 15 minutes. Start date will be March 28th. Okay. Repeat every Monday until April 12th. Oops, April 11th. It's a Monday. And then you leave it on show on your calendars, enable registrations. I turn the virtual off. Yes, require payment in order to register. Yes, limit the number. The beginner series, I usually do 5 people. It's just a good amount, I figure. And then I cut and paste this message. This is a 3 class series that requires a special pass. They have to buy the beginner series pass to register for this. they cannot use the beginner series passes for regular classes, and they cannot use a regular class pass for their beginner series. So it's just like a little, this is the policy. These are our policies. No refunds or extensions. And then under no passes selected, I select absolute beginner series. And then whatever the external URL is, I just copy and paste this link. And now it's in Tula. One more thing we're going to do. I almost always, we can't do it here. So we're going to save this, and then we're going to add a tag. And up here, add a tag. This is important. I just started doing this, but it makes things much, much easier. So tag, it might have to refresh before you can add the tag. Tag, beginner. That adding the tag makes it a lot easier when you have to go to copy these into the website so that they actually show up on the website. So if you add the tag, when you have to add things to the website, you can just select the tags to get the link to cut and paste rather than having to select each class individually. So for the beginner series, I tag beginner, and for the kids class, there's another tag that says kids that you get from this little thing up here. And that makes it so that you don't have to recopy every single kids class every time. You just use the kids tag or the beginner tag, and all the classes with that tag will show up. Okay. So then the other thing that I do, just to help people from not getting confused, once I add a beginner series in, I will usually go to those days on the calendar. So now you can see on the calendar on March 28th, it shows up. And I will edit each class individually. So I go into each class, and it should pop up automatically if you click in like the class name or type. So it says class number 1, class number 2, class number 3. It's a little bit of an annoying extra step, but I think it helps people not get confused with the beginner series because people get super confused really easily. And then I think it also helps like people not try to register for the series in the middle of the series. Like I've had people try to register and like join on the second or the third class because it just says beginner series. They don't realize it's the beginning of a series. So I go back in and label them class number 1, class number 2, class number 3, which you have to do individually by going to each class on the calendar and then just clicking so I'm going to do the last one now, April 11th. I'm going to click on this beginner series class. And then the 3 dots over here, I click edit class. And then in the class name or type, class number 3. When they are full, sometimes I will change it to say full in that same way. I'll just class name or type beginner series silks -full. So everybody knows they're full and that shows up on the website. Or the other thing you can do if they're full is go down to the pass associations and remove the pass. And that'll make it so that people can't purchase the pass through the website for that class. So they can't actually register for that class because there's no purchase option available. So I will do sometimes either or both of those things once the beginner series is full to like just eliminate any confusion about whether you can or cannot register for that class. Same thing with the kids classes. If it's full, sometimes I'll just remove the pass from the class. So the class still shows up on the calendar, but there's no way that people can buy or sign up for that class. Okay, so that one is done. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do the Saturday silks. So new class or event and special event series. Class name or event, beginner series silks. You can't put in like class number 1, class number 2, class number 3 when you create the series because it'll automatically put the same name on every class in the series. So if you try to put class number 1 there, every class will show up as class number 1. Repeating schedule, I just put myself in again for the instructor, but I need to make one for Christina. I will. On Saturdays, the silks class is 1 o'clock. I'm going to do the beginner series to 1:15. It is, or 2:15, it is the same time as Rebecca's hoop class, but we make it work. And this one is going to start on April 23rd. Repeat every Saturday until May 7th. So that's 3 Saturdays. Yes, show on the calendar. Yes, enable registrations, but virtual off. Require payment. Limit number of in-person to 5. And then I'm gonna copy that message again under what should we tell your students when they try to register. I just copy and paste that every time from the previous one. It has an option to include a custom message on registration confirmation emails. That would be nice, but I haven't created one of those yet, so maybe someday in the future. Absolute Beginner Series, you just click under passes to select, click that, and then make sure it says public. And then I copy the URL also. That the URL takes people to a more detailed class description. And the class description will be like a clickable link on the calendar if you put it in that URL there. So now this one is done. I sometimes check, it's like really easy to click more than one day of the week there. And if you do, you have to like delete the whole series and start over. I don't know why those buttons just like are very sensitive. So I just make sure that everything looks good. And I'm going to save this one. And then I'm going to go back to the calendar for this one and change the title of those classes again. So now this one, I have to edit this one again because I put it in as 1 a.m. to 2:15 a.m. So that's okay. You go to View Class Series, edit this series, and we're going to change this to PM and save it. And then go back to the calendar. April 23rd. So there it is. The other thing I usually do, like both the Monday beginner series and the Saturday beginner series are at the same time as open gym, like the regular Monday open gym and the regular Saturday open gym. Not a lot of people come to Saturday open gym. I think a few people do come to Monday, but I will also, when I put a beginner series on for like 3 certain dates, 3 Mondays or 3 Saturdays, I'll usually edit and either cancel open gym for Saturdays or cut the time shorter for Mondays, because it's just like a little bit too much happening in the space at the same time to have open gym and a beginner series at the same time. Like if somebody really needs that time to practice, they can ask me and I'll let, one person use that time for open gym. But if it's like any more than that, it just gets a little hectic. So edit this class. So I'm doing this as I'm talking about something else, but I'm going back in and changing beginner series silks class number 2, save this class. And then I've got to do it for the last class in this series. So I go back to the calendar. This one is May 7th. There it is, beginner series. Click the 3 dots, edit this class. Class number 3. Oh, and I forgot to tag this one, so I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go back to the series, because you want to tag the whole series together, not just each class separately. So, okay, I'm going to go back to it. I always forget to do something. I feel like I always have to go back. Edit this series, add the tag, beginner, and then you have to hit I'm done. And I don't think you have to save it again. I think it just does that automatically if you go to the calendar. Okay. We're going to add one more. This one is a Lyra. For the beginner series, I usually call it aerial hoop because people get confused. Again, they're like, what's Lyra? So for the regular classes, it is called Lyra, but for the beginner series, I will call it Aerial Hoop just because I think it's a little bit more user-friendly. Okay, special event series. Class name. Beginner series Lyra, Aerial Hoop. Okay. This one actually is taught by me, so I'm going to put me. And the next Lyra series is going to be April 9th. Okay. So this one has to happen at 2:30 after Rebecca's Lyra class. 2:30 p.m., 1 hour and 15 minutes. Start date April 9th. Repeat every Saturday. And it's going to end on April 23rd. Ralph is chattering at the birds in the background. It's so cute. Show on the calendar. Enable registrations. Virtual off. Require payment. Yes. Limit people to 5. There's 5 liras, so that works out well. But I just think it's hard to like actually give full attention to more than 5 beginners. Copy the registration message. And select the beginner series pass. And then copy the URL. I believe it's the same URL for the Silks and the Lyra for the beginner series. It takes people to a page on the website that has a class description. So, oh, except it didn't copy, so I've got to redo that. Copy. And then before I save it, oh no, I have to save it first, and then let's add the tag save, and then tag. Hello. Wait, okay, you have to refresh, and then you can tag. Beginner. I'm done. Okay, let me just make sure that the kids class that I added the other day has the kids, yes, is tagged with kids. And I have to make sure okay. Oh, I need to label the Lyra classes. Class number 1, class number 2, class number 3. So let's do that. And then I think we can add them to the website. I didn't change the open gym times yet. I might not do that right now. I might do that later. So edit this class. Class number 1. Save. Go back to the calendar. April 16th is the second one, so I'm going to click on that class. Click edit this class. Go up here, class number 2. And save. And then calendar, April. It's a small hassle, but it saves you from bigger hassles. Lyra. Edit this class. Click right up here. Class number 3. Oh. Go back. And save. Okay. Now we are done with the other. I closed the other Tula that I was copying and pasting stuff from. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to open the website. www.aerialdancebuffalo.com/admin, and it will take me right to the place where I can actually log into the website so I can not just view it but do stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do before I even copy and paste the links, it doesn't really matter which thing you do first, but if I click on Absolute Beginner Series here, hopefully you can see it. And then at the top I click Edit Post. I am going to go down in here. So this one is, the February ones are done. I'm going to just delete those. I'm actually going to copy this before I delete it. Just change the dates. So, because it's got the Monday. Okay, so Aerial Silks, the March 19th one is happening now, although it's full, but that's okay. We can leave it up there so people know it's happening, even though they won't be able to register for it. But they can't register from this page anyways. This is just, or from this part of this page, I should say. The registration part happens below in the calendar. So, Monday, March 28th, and April 4th and 11th. That's the next Monday one. I'm going to copy this. The next Saturday one is April 23rd, 30th, and May 7th. Okay? Now for the Lyra one. The Lyra one's always on Saturdays. It doesn't have to be, but why is it doing that? I am there at that time on Saturdays, and I've so far have been the only one teaching the Lyra Beginner Series, so I just keep it on Saturdays because I don't really want to teach it at another time. But if somebody else ever did, we could find another time for it. March 19th, 26th, and April. Oh, no, those are not the right dates, Erica. It is all April. It is April 9th, 16th, and 23rd. I hope these are accurate. I think they are. You got, like, I just always double check myself because it is easy to make a typo or a mistake, and then you get lots of emails and questions. Okay. March 5th, 12th, and 19th, that's the one that just started yesterday. April 9th, 16th, and 23rd, that's the one we're just adding. And then the silks are March 28th, April 4th, and 11th, that's the Monday one. No. Just want to make sure everything is lined up nicely. And then April 23rd, 30th, and May 7th. Okay. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what we need. Okay. So I'm going to update this right now just so it saves it before I do the calendar. So this right now, the website is in visual mode over here. So you can, so it looks pretty similar to how it looks on the actual published website. This shows you like the pictures and the formatting and everything. If you go to text mode, which is what you have to do to add stuff from Tula into the calendar where people can actually register on the website, you have to go to text mode, and then it's like in HTML or whatever computer language it is. It's still not that hard to follow, but you'll see like it's all text and it's got some like code language in there. So when you scroll down to the very bottom, and this very like last 3 lines after it says use arrows to scroll to the series start dates, and then it'll have like a little arrow thingy, and it says script type equals text JavaScript blah blah blah. That is, so I guess it's Java, I guess would be the language that we're using here. I don't even know. I just copy and paste. So those last 3 lines are the the part that comes from Tula, the code that like creates the whole calendar where people can register for classes through the website. So that's the part that we're going to replace. So I'm going to go back to Tula, and then you have to go back to Studio Center. Oops. We're going to go to this menu up here, and you have to go down to website widgets. I do custom widgets. That just means you can choose the colors. So I have it like taped to my computer keyboard, the colors that I use for the website. I have to enter them here, 003B3D. I just got really stoned one night and messed around with colors like for the entire night until like 5 in the morning, and ended up choosing these colors, and that's the ones I've always used, but they also could be changed someday. 95B33E. I mean, the whole website could be changed someday, but we're not doing that right now. We're just doing this. A15C92, and the last one is the same, 339933. It's like the one that was automatically in there. I just left it because I thought it looked nice. So now we're gonna go. Here's where the tags come in. So if you scroll down, pick tags, we're gonna pick beginner, and it should like that way you don't have to pick all the individual classes out of this list here. And it should automatically just put all the beginner classes into this code in this little box here. You copy and paste that, go back to the website, and replace those 3 lines at the bottom with the new code from Tula. Hit update, and they should be in there ready to go now. So sometimes I'll open another window and go to the website as like a user, not as an admin where I'm editing. Go to the beginner series and check and make sure everything looks good. March 19th, okay. All the dates that we just added come on up in the informational part. You have to scroll past aerial yoga. I probably should put in a new aerial yoga series, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Saturday, March 12th, Saturday, March 19th. And yeah, so Monday, March 28th, that's the one we just added. The March 26th one was in there. Yeah, so they're overlapping a little bit. So Monday, March 28th is in there. I need to add something because now there's so many beginner series happening at once. I'm realizing that like on the calendar, it'll say like class number 2, and then underneath that it'll say class number 1, but it's for a different beginner series. So I just want to put a note in here that says, make sure you always register for class number 1. So I'm going to add one more note in there under class calendar. So edit this post. I'm going to go back to visual for this because the only reason I go into the text mode is for when you have to copy and paste the code from Tula. Otherwise, it's much easier to edit from the visual mode. So I'm going to add under class calendar. Please make sure to only register for a class from the class register from for a series from the class that is labeled class number 1. You may alright. I'm going to put that in bold just because now that there's like multiple overlapping beginner series on the calendar, I think people are going to get a little bit confused by that. Okay. And then I'm gonna hit update again. And I'm just gonna go to view post and see how that looks. Please make sure to only register for a series from the class that is labeled class number 1. Yes, okay, good. Okay, so now I'm back in Tula. I just realized that the Lyra classes that I'm teaching right now, I did not label those class number 1, class number 2, class number 3. And I just want to do that just so the calendar is clean and consistent. I like it when things are consistent. All right, I'm gonna go back, class number 1. I still at some point have to go back and edit the open gym times. I'm not super worried about that because so few people have been coming to Saturday open gym in general. Although if we have an event of some kind, they will. So we'll have to figure out what to do about open gym, especially when the as soon as I post the burlesque show, I'm sure open gym will get more popular. So I will have to figure out what's the best solution for open gym times, because I do want people to have open gym. I just want to make sure we're not having like 3 different things happen in the studio at once. Okay. Actually, I should just I really should just label this one as full rather than class number 1, class number 2, class number 3, and take the pass off. I'm gonna do that instead. Sorry, I just realized that makes more sense right now. So now sorry, this is a long video of me not doing that much in certain times, but there we go. Now the Lyra class is marked as full. And I'm going to take the pass off so that nobody else can register for the Lyra class that's currently in progress that is very full. So if I go and like refresh the website, it should show up as, oh, why isn't it showing up yet? It should show up that class, no. Ugh. All right, save. Okay, now on the website that class shows up as full. Okay. So the beginner series are in there. The only other thing that could be done at any point is to send like a promotional email or post on Facebook and Instagram like the new dates for beginner series. That doesn't need to be done right now. And then again, change the open gym time. So now I'm going to go into youth area classes over here. I'm going to go back to Tula, back to website widgets, back to custom widget setup, enter the colors. This should be pretty quick right now. Enter the colors in the custom boxes up here, 003 B3D, and text color is, this one's kind of worn out on my computer screen, 95B33E, 95B33E. Secondary text color is A15C92. I almost have them memorized. I've done this so many times. Okay, and now we're going to pick, so we only added one kids class, but we're still going to pick the kids tag because that makes sure that all of the previous kids classes that we still want to show up on the calendar that were already in there, they are also tagged as kids, so they will continue to show up on the calendar. We're basically like recopying and repasting the whole set of kids classes into the website right now. You can't just add the most recent one that you have added in Tula. You can't just add it. You have to copy and paste the whole entire set of classes, which is fine. If you just hit the tag, that'll happen automatically. So I already added the computer code, which will generate the calendar in. I did that first this time. Now I'm going to go back and add under winter and spring. So we're gonna actually delete winter right now and just call it spring. And then I am going to go to Northtown's level 1 Tuesdays 4-week session. Next session is, I'm going to actually just move this around a little bit. March 22nd, 29th, April 5th, April 12th. And then what I did for this one, it's listed as a 4-week session, but I made it a 5-week session because kids have spring break on one of those weeks. I think the April 12th week. So I added a makeup class just to like still encourage people to register for this particular series, even if they know they're going to miss one class. Level 1 4-week sessions. And then I'm going to put this down. I'm just adjusting this a little bit so it's easier to read. Drop in. I do this all the time. I'm like forever just making like tiny little tweaks on the website to try to make people have fewer questions. But okay, so we have added the Northtown's Youth Silks information. The Southtown Youth Silks information. I'm going to hit update. And just look at it and make sure it all looks good. Okay. I think it looks good. We'll check the calendar. So we go to March 22nd. Yep, the classes are in there. Youth Level 1, Aerial Silks, February 8th to... Okay. So good thing I checked it because I have the wrong dates for this youth class on the calendar. It's placed on the correct dates, but in the title, so this is good to show you. So in the title for the youth class, if I go to view this class series, and I'm going to edit this series, I forgot in the title of the class, 4-week session. March 22nd to April 12th and April 19th. North Towns, and then I put in here make up class April 19th. So it's like a super long class title, but it's going to give everybody all of the info right in the title of the class. And I often, for the kids classes, I will put North Towns or South Towns right in the title of the class so that there's no question about which is which. Save it. Okay. Now if I go to this calendar, and go to March 22nd, Youth Level 1 6 class, 4-week session, March 22nd to April 12th. Makeup class, April 19th. Yes. Okay. Okay. Maybe that's helpful. I hope so. Okay.